Recently, I was talking to a friend of mine who happens to be a developer. I was on about the recent Star Citizen video. I was one of the first people to see it back when it was private, the face capture rendering engine, which I found to be quite interesting and fairly intuitive. I will admit that though I found it cool, I also felt that it could be the future of gaming. But in the sense of like VR was the future of gaming. You know how for people who are actually over 20 something, VR initially became like this huge thing in the 80s. People were going crazy for it. They were losing their minds. VR was the next big thing. 3D TVs and stuff like that. In the early 90s, Nintendo was the first company to try to bring the VR experience to home consoles with, I think it was like, what, Nintendo VR? I can't remember what it was called, but it was in all red. The shit gave you a headache. It fucked with your vision if you played it for more than 10 minutes. It was a horrible experience. But now when I look at VR and stuff like that, I think, wow, how far we've come and how now VR seems a bit more mainstream and accepted. Granted, it's not where they thought it would be, but today it's far along the way and more accessible and more appealing to people than it was when it initially started those 20, 30, God knows how many years ago. The same will probably be said of this Star Citizen face capture web camera thing. I think this is something that in 20 years maybe, it will be in every MMORPG on the market. So I was telling my friend, or associate I should say, who was involved in game development and stuff about this. And then he kind of hit me with the sad information that was gathered at Gamescom. Believe this if you want or not, I don't know what to tell you, but it's actually kind of worrying news. I have been fairly ignorant of the whole thing, in the sense of I have put $150 into Star Citizen. Ziltex put like over 200 something into his ship. We're guys who are interested in the game in hopes it comes out at some time relatively soon, but we knew it wasn't going to be, like in a year or so. We were thinking 2020. My contact tells me that the Star Citizen devs themselves at Gamescom said you'd be lucky if Star Citizen came out at 2023, if at all. They also said that they haven't done any work on the gameplay of Squadron 42 in 2 years. This is what I'm told by a game dev that has links to them and has spoken with them. That was kind of shocking. They then moved on to tell me that Star Citizen's allegedly contacting other devs and publishers looking to see if anyone was willing to invest $75 million into Star Citizen. He tells me that he believes they're broke. I certainly hope that's not the case, but it would explain a lot. In the sense of Star Citizen has been at this sort of stalemate. We've all been waiting for this 3.0 patch forever. There's been tons of promises made. Let's face it, Squadron 42 was supposed to come out, what, this year or last year? It's damn sure not coming out this year. And I don't think it's coming out next year with the way things are going. Frankly, if they're just having this much of a hard time, maybe just fucking focus on getting out the game and give us something. And in all honesty, as someone who's been playing Star Citizen's alpha, whatever the hell you call it, for the past year or so, it's been kind of a letdown. In the sense of the excitement and joy I had in the initial times getting into it has dwindled substantially. And the move to Lumberyard, which at the time I didn't think much of, considering, Chris Roberts assured everybody in his little things that this is the great move and this is the right move and blah, 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 blah. But on the other hand, ever since they switched to Lumberyard, it runs like shit now. Like seriously, Star Citizen ran better a year and a half ago. Before you could open your ship, climb up the little ladder and get into your ship, sit down, pull down your HUD, and look cool. A little janky. Little. Not very, just a little. Now you do that, jank city. It makes no sense. You don't even do the animation. You teleport into the ship. Your guy's arms are still moving. It makes no fucking sense. And this is coming from somebody who has been a long-time supporter. Granted, I only dropped $150, but there are people who drop thousands and don't want to face the reality that Star Citizen might actually not happen. And if it does, it won't be what we were promised. Hopefully it does come out, but I'm not holding my breath. There's a multitude of information shared with me. A lot of it I unfortunately forgot, and I didn't have brains enough to get out a notepad and write the shit down because I'm a jackass. But I was also told in the Amazon deal with Star Citizen supposedly. I was told that there's a strong possibility that Amazon is letting them use Lumberyard without any backend, meaning they have to pay for the engine or anything, which is a smart move for Star Citizen, obviously. But Amazon wants control over the, what was that aspect again? Shit, some sort of DLC stuff, I can't remember. But basically, I'm being told in the long run it's microtransactions. So there's a strong shot that there will be skins and stuff you can buy or something to that extent. I don't know how true it is. I don't know if that was a speculation or confirmed from a dev, so that one you can take with a grain of salt. The only thing I can think is, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me considering there's content that was there and it's gone. There were like outfits I bought in the game that I earned in the game with money that are now just gone. I can't get them back and I like them a lot. Like, why is the content gone? What the fuck's going on? Why is getting your ship shittier? How come the thing runs worse? In a simple Google search, you'll run into a whole bunch of people who share the same sentiments. On Reddit, someone writes, the recent pushes for subscriber numbers and the referral program are rubbing me the wrong way. And I quote, as someone who helps run a modest organization, I talk to and interact with people new to Star Citizen all the time. They keep coming in, just getting into the game all excited. Usually they get help to buy a ship. They're super pumped to play the game, and then they realize the area around Crusader runs like shit. He didn't say shit, but crap. I can attest to that. Then someone has to explain to them why the PU is laggy. Then someone has to explain to them why it's difficult to get into the game with a large group. Someone has to explain that all of these things will be fixed in Wonder Patch 3.0, which we're all kind of waiting for. I know I'm waiting for it. That's the one you can go to planets and actually land and hop on ships and shit, but when is it happening? Also, what the hell happened to that cool tutorial mode? That was like the most content the game had in ages, and they just ripped it the fuck out. Nah, I know. There'll probably be people pissed off at me about this. Pretty much only PC gamers. And I'm not saying, you know, I don't know what the hell to say. There's no sense of being angry at me. I'm just saying a dev told me this from Gamescom. And when you look at everything that's going on, if they're looking for an investment of $75 million after they just got a bank loan, like in all this time they spent on this fucking face capture thing, I get that it's cool. I genuinely think it's cool and awesome, and it'll one day be huge. But wouldn't the time and resource would have been better suited to fucking fixing the game or putting something out? I understand all the anger and dissension, but you can't be so far into believing into this project that you can't see the glaring omissions and issues that have been at hand for years. I don't know, man. I just don't. Being told this has kind of removed all the wind from my sails. And also, I gotta admit, as cool as the face thing is, when the guy's showing you, oh, you can look in directions here and here, like, what's the point? Looking in all these directions only works if you have like a multi-monitor setup, at least 4, and ideally 6, because if you're looking in any one direction, your eyes have to stay planted to the screen if you only have one fucking screen. It's ridiculous. Jeez. I'm like looking at this guy look up and he's straining his eyes to stare at it. It's, oh. I mean, yeah, god fucking damn it. If you want, you can do a couple Reddit posts to look deeper into this. I just recently found out about Smart Speak. I can't say that like I'm pleased with everything I'm looking at, but I'm told by someone on the inside the guy behind Smart Speak is more right than he is wrong. So I'm guessing that means there's a 60-40 shot most of the shit this guy has to say is true. 60% is a lot. Maybe 55% then, let's put it that way, 55-45. Still, that's way too much and way too distressing for anyone who was looking forward to this game. It's fucking disheartening. I apologize because it is with a heavy heart that I have to say something about this, because I was really, really looking forward to Star Citizen, and now I'm just kind of lethargic, I guess. You don't have to rate, comment, subscribe if you don't choose to, but if you do, it only makes me more popular and more of a force in the gaming and tech media that currently is saturated with people who are more concerned with their bottom line than you getting an honest opinion of anything. And this channel is not motivated by money. I think you can tell by looking at it, there isn't any money here. And I know people keep telling me to make a Patreon, but I don't know. Maybe I feel like what I do isn't good enough to deserve people's money. Could just be that whole sort of depression kicking in and nibbling me in the balls and killing my self-esteem. Who the hell knows? Ah, well, some of you know. You know how it is. When there's that girl you really care about, and then she goes off with some other guy named Kip. And you think, how do I lose to a guy named Kip? The name alone sucks.